What's up, YouTube? Now, we all tend to have body parts that don't seem to respond that well to training. We also tend to have body parts that respond disproportionately well to training. Me personally, my traps have always responded really well to anything. When I'm doing barbell curls, my traps respond. When I'm training my abs, traps respond. I remember when I was doing PT tests in the military, I would get a ridiculous pump during the sit-ups in my traps just for interlacing my fingers behind my head. My boy Vaughn, he's been in some of my videos, he's been in some of the leg training videos, chest training videos. For whatever reason, he has a ridiculous ability to grow his arms. He doesn't even train his arms frequently. Now, he does train hard, but he doesn't really train his arms that frequently. And I remember during certain leg sessions, he would get a pump in his arms just for doing squats. Why? I have no idea. But one of the underpinning elements between most people I know who have body parts that respond relatively easily and body parts that don't respond easily is that for whatever reason, the body parts that respond really well to training, we tend to have an innate, really potent mind-muscle connection with that body part. And the body parts that don't respond really well, we tend to have a weak mind-muscle connection. Case in point, my upper chest has always been a lagging body part. And it wasn't until I started employing different techniques that would allow me to more effectively recruit those muscle fibers during my training sessions that I begin to see improvement. And now I'd say my upper chest is probably one of my better body parts. Tip number one, during training sessions for that particular body part, I would recommend that in between sets, try to close your eyes and actually flex that muscle as hard as you possibly can. I remember going through a little mental exercise. I would actually envision tiny embers actually building in that body part while I was flexing and holding the contraction. And as time went by, I would imagine the contraction to increase in intensity and to get harder and harder. And I would actually try to will that muscle group into cramping while I was holding the contraction. And then after you do this, you want to then stretch the muscle for an extended period of time. This allows you to get more blood into the muscle group, and it helps build that mind-muscle connection, allowing you to recruit more muscle fibers during your training. Tip number two, I would engage in what I call neural primers. And this is where in between sets for a heavy free-weighted movement, let's use upper chest for example, because that was my lagging body part. In between sets for bench press or incline press, I would take a kettlebell, not really light, not too heavy, something light, and I would hold it in front of me by way of contracting my chest muscles as hard as I could and actually actively pressing that kettlebell inwards as hard as I possibly could to achieve a rock solid contraction in my upper pecs. Now, a lot of people, I've seen people talk negatively about this exercise and they say it's not a good mass builder, and that's not the purpose of the movement. I'm not using it to gain mass in that movement alone. What it does is it allows me to achieve a much stronger contraction in my upper pecs during the actual mass building movement. So like I said, I would do this in between sets for presses, and it would allow me to feel the press much more in my upper pec than in my lower pec or in my shoulders. it will just allow me to zero in on that particular lagging body part more efficiently than if I did it
and
without.
Freeze. All right, guys. So once I finished the video, I went back, checked it out like I always do, and I kind of felt like I didn't do a great job explaining exactly what neural priming was. So I talked about the neural primer I use for the chest, but I didn't really go into detail for neural primers you could use for other body parts. And let me go over neural primer again. A neural primer is just anything that allows you to really feel a strong connection with that muscle group that will help you take that connection and then apply it to another movement that is more of a mass builder. So for biceps, I would use something known as a mid-range curl, which is basically a third of a curl, the middle third portion of a curl, whether it be dumbbell curl, barbell curl, band curl, doesn't matter. I prefer band curls for this purpose. Basically, I do about 10 to 12 reps band curls, and then I do my regular set of barbell curls. And the thing is, it's not pre-fatiguing. You're not trying to fatigue the muscle group. You're trying to do just enough work to stay fresh and still feel the actual muscle fiber that you're trying to target when you're doing the mass builder movement. Secondly, I'd use something like the middle portion of a leg extension for quads, and then I'd do squats. Again, we're not trying to tire the muscle more so than we're trying to feel the specific portion of the muscle that we want to hit. Back to the video.
Try to do more unilateral movements than bilateral movements for that particular body part. If we're talking about training the limbs, a good example of this would be to do more one-arm dumbbell curls than two-arm dumbbell curls, because it allows you to allocate more of your mental resources to one body part, which will probably allow you to achieve a much better peak contraction during the movement. I hope you found the video helpful. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Take care, guys.